Hello, this is Lee, and I'm here with Caneshade. And Caneshades, how's it going?
All right, man. Excited. Friday afternoon. I'm doing the Lee Cole show. I'm excited.
Well, and I want to discuss today because we have a lot of things coming up, and I just want to discuss a few things, and you can just throw in there you want the future of the show and what we're planning on doing. First off, people are saying that we talk too much about Johnny A. Light, and that it seems like that's all we talk about. But here's what you got to remember. Here's the things that we've talked about in the last 2 weeks. We've talked about we had three interviews, one with Sicilian, one with Gunnar Lindsay, and one with Jimmy Calandra. So that's three interviews. And then we talked about drug addiction. We talked about Sammy Gravano, the murder of Alan Kaiser. I mean, this has not been just a one-dimensional channel. And I would challenge anybody to go out there and find channel, to find a channel that is doing that is doing as much. They're talking about their stories, about their personal life. We don't do that. We're trying to expand the station and get interest in shows. And what do you think about that, King Chad?
Yes, I don't know if this is a fair assumption, but I think the Lee Cole third show is like the CNN of the mob genre right now, or Fox News or whatever.
CNN.
Oh no,
I mean,
sorry.
As long as I'm not Jeffrey Tubin.
Yeah.
No,
but what you're doing is you're covering what's going on as far as the YouTube mob stuff that's going on. You're doing a hell of a job. It's not easy, guys. I'm letting you know this right now. It is easy.
We're under constant attack. I mean,
you can't please everybody.
Nope.
And Lee Cole third is doing the best that he can, and I'm proud of him, man. He's within a month. You're what?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. We did an interview yesterday, and it's pushing 2,000. And during the interview, as everybody knows, we had Sicilian here, and he talked about his addiction and stuff. We averaged 30 minutes per person on the show yesterday. And that comes out to almost 20. That's equivalent to 27,000 subs. If you take the time and everything, it's not about the subs; it's about the watch time. Because people are only going to watch if they like the show. That's what it comes down to. You guys are not going to hang out here if you don't like the show. And I want to ask you, Caneshade, if you had to think about an actor who is great at gangster movies, who would be one of the first guys you think about?
Ooh, wow. You know who I like? You know who I liked, and he passed away, is James Gandolfini, the guy who played Tony Soprano. Amazing. As far as a living actor,
a living actor that's played parts of,
Al Pacino, the role he did at Donnie Brasco.
How about Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp played Whitey Bulger, Dillinger, and he also played Donnie Brasco. And one of our shows coming up, I'm going to have an expert here. Johnny Depp is in a lawsuit with Amber Heard. Now, this is a lawsuit where he has lost everything. He's lost his shows, and there's video evidence of her lying about everything. And this guy has just totally been wiped out. His career is like literally over because it was an old guy getting involved with some young chick. Bad move. And she has just taken, and there's video evidence of all these lies and stuff. And this is a show that I got coming up where we're going to discuss the downfall of Johnny Depp. And the reason we're going to discuss it is because he is one of the great actors in gangster movies. If you think about it, Donnie Brasco, that's like a classic. Can you think of anybody like Whitey Bulger?
Don't forget he played George Young in the Blow movie.
Yes, he did.
That was awesome.
Yes.
That's probably one of the best roles right there in that Blow movie.
And that whole story about Johnny Depp with Amber Heard is just a sad story. He got, they were dated and then they got married. So I'm going to have an expert on here, and we're going to try this weekend. And his name is Rob Rolls, and that's the name of his show. And I'm going to have him come on the show. and he's going to give us a lot of information on the Johnny Depp thing. And Cherry, you have a lot of information also. Cherry has been behind that whole Johnny Depp story for a long time. But it's like we're going to do the fact that he's a gangster. He played so many gangster movies. This is like this type of channel, and we just want to discuss him to kind of give people an idea. And so also we got a couple of really big interviews coming up. They're going to shock who they are. There is big shock. Let me tell you something. You're going to be shocked. And one thing that has to be remembered, I'm here doing these shows and stuff, and I'm challenging people to come on these shows. And if they accept to come on the show, I'm going to let them come on the show. That doesn't mean that I agree with them or I'm going to change my attitude toward them. But if they want to come on the show, I'm going to let them come on the show. And that is, and that's the difference between me and these other stations. Anybody that believes that I'm being unfair to them has the right to come on the show and defend himself. So that's what we're going to be doing. And that's going to be happening soon. These are pretty big. Let me put it this way. When I interview these people, I'm not going to advertise it. I'm just going to come on with them because I don't feel like getting into any battles with people like, why are you having this guy on and stuff. I'm just going to do the interview. And that's going to be coming pretty soon. And you're going to be surprised about who we have on. And we're doing this because we don't want to become a one-dimensional station. There's stations here that just live off Johnny A. Light. We're not going to be that station. We're going to talk about Johnny A. Light. I'm not going to be like some of these guys who've recently went underneath a rock and said, well, I'm going to drop the Johnny A. Light stuff. And just so you know, I'm not talking about Jimmy Calandra. I'm talking about somebody who did it yesterday. And he basically said that he didn't want nothing to do with that, with the A-Light thing anymore, but because this person's in trouble in other parts of their life. And this is what they do. I mean, they back out, they run. And we're not going to do that. We're going to continue talking about Johnny A-Light. And if anybody has any ideas about that or any type of opinion, what do you think about that? Do you think that if we attack somebody on this show and say how our feelings, that they have the right to come on this show and defend themselves?
Yeah, tell them to come on. I mean, I know, Lee, you're not going to cater to them. You're going to give them tough questions, and everything that you said, you're going to tell them straight up, right?
I'm going to ask them straight out. I'm going to say this, and this. And, I'll give you an example. When Gunnar came on this show, people said to me, well, you didn't ask him enough questions. I didn't have to ask Gunnar questions. Gunnar just sat there like a talking machine and wouldn't shut up. He just went on and on and on. I didn't have to say nothing about Gunnar. You guys watched Gunnar. You can't get a word in edgewise with him. And he's kind of a control freak, and he wanted to take the show over. And after he left the show, he's talking all this crap and stuff. So, that's just the way it is. He went back and said, oh, this guy said this about you, this about you, this about you. So, what did you think of the Gunnar interview?
It was definitely interesting. He did do a lot of talking, in my opinion. He might, kind of a little nutcase. That's my opinion. But It was a great interview. I think you handled the interview great. You just let him just be him.
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do with anybody that comes on the show. But the people I'm talking about coming on the show, I'm going to be very point blank direct with them and ask them tough questions. And they're going to either defend themselves and come up with good answers, or they're not. And if it hurts anybody's feelings and they want to unsubscribe from the show, I can't stop you. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Every sub that you get is a valuable one. And I also want to talk about the chat room. There's a couple of people that are coming in the chat room, and I do not mind negative comments. But if you put 30 of them in the chat room and take over a chat room, I'm going to erase you from the show because you really shouldn't be going into someone's chat room and just dominating it. Like there's one guy that went into my chat room and put like 30 different things down. You know, that's just domination of our chat room. That's not good. So it's like I said, I'm not going to erase nobody unless you're really vulgar. And, but if you are trying to take over a chat room with about 30, 40 comments, I will definitely erase you because I have no choice. Okay. So what news do you have? Talk to me about your station.
Yeah, I dropped a video yesterday about maybe there's some talks of being the co-host of the LEECOLE show.
Yes.
And I believe we have an announcement about that, right?
Yes, we do. Caneshade, we come. Okay. So as you guys know, the Bald Sicilian is on this show, but the Bald Sicilian has his own thing going on. He's gonna interview me on his show on Sunday, and I'm going to talk about a lot of personal stuff in my life so people get to know me a little bit better. And I interviewed him yesterday, but Caneshade is going to be a big part of this show. He's going to be a co-host with me, and we're going to run things off each other. He's really good with video work and stuff like that, and he's just going to help me out. You know, my main thing is I want to make this as good a show as possible. I have been viciously attacked at this Sammy Gravano attack. I mean, I can't even describe it to you. There are so many people out there that think Sammy is God. You know, and let's see what Anthony says here. Anthony says, Lee, where can I read the kid that Sammy murdered report? Oh, Anthony, you know what? Why don't you drop me, you know what? I'm going to put you.
He wants to read the police report, or?
Yeah, there's a couple of reports. Yeah. Here's my email right there. If you want something, you get, just email me. Explain to me what you're looking for and stuff. That's the show's email. Okay. I just want to let you know that. Okay. And, okay, that's your email too. Okay. I appreciate that, Anthony. But anything that you want to do, just let me know. And we'd have no trouble doing that. Okay. Also, I was watching a video yesterday. There was a gentleman that's been going around acting like a big tough guy, attacking people. And then he went on, he was doing a show and he was talking about how great Gene Barillo was after attacking people, going after the rats. And then all of a sudden he just backed off everything. Some of you may know who I'm talking about, but and this is what they do. This is what they do. They try to push you away. And this has been a long period of time. Okay. Lexi, it says, man, Lee, it seems like you're going live every day. Ought to change the name to the show, Going Live with Lee.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Let me tell you why I go live. I go live because, like right now, we got 70 people in the room. To a lot of people, that's a lot of people.
Freaking impressive, really impressive.
And 70, and we're slow right now. Usually we have 100, 150, 200 people. See, and the reason I go live is because you want to know who your real subscribers are. If you do not know who your real subscribers are, every year YouTube goes in and they push out a lot of your people. And some people lose like 1,000 subs. They got robots. They got companies that literally go out and get their own subs and bring them in. The only subs that we have here, and this is why you see my sub count not growing as much as the other guys, because I'm erasing them. I go over my subs every day. If they don't belong there, they're gone.
And also I would like to do, I have to talk to you about it, LEECOLE, but I would like to do giveaways. I have cool, like mob stuff like this right here. Let me show you guys that I just give away. You see this right here? It's like a John Gotti penny from 1987. I don't know if it's John Gotti's penny. I got on eBay a few years ago for like $4.99. But I have like a lot of stuff that we could do giveaways. Show some love to the comment section. I'll go ahead and send some cool things to you guys. if that's cool with you, LEECOLE.
Well, I would definitely like to have some kind of giveaways too. You know, we want our people coming back. You know, I want our people, our most loyal people. Like today, we don't have too many attackers here, but you know it depends what the subject is. Okay, it goes. Fat Bolden did a short about one of the lies today. Epic. Yeah, he did a show today, and I watched that. I think that's the one that you're talking about from this morning. It's early, bigger live numbers at different time of day. It's happy hour on Friday, but life schedules are life schedules, and you do your best. Yeah, right now I got 80 people live. I mean, most people would love to have 80 people live, so I'm not going to really be upset because you know what? Whenever I drop a video, people do come to it and watch it. Sometimes I'll leave and there'll be 300 views. I'll come back 3 hours later, I'll be at 2,000 views.
And you're very consistent with your times. It's usually the afternoon around this time, 4 or 8. So,
Yeah.
so your consistency, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I needed time off tonight. I usually do a show tonight, but I needed time off because my dogs are getting pissed at me. I'm not spending enough time with them.
I see Carlos Muñez is another loyal subscriber.
Yeah, so I was getting nervous. Carlos wasn't going to show up today, you know?
Yeah.
I figured maybe Carlos was working or something. He's like, I ain't got no time for this crap today.
He says, good to see you guys together, LEECOLE and Caneshade Zone.
Yes, Carlos, and we're going to have you're going to see this combination a lot more. And as we were talking about, we're going to start doing a lot. We have some big interviews coming up with people that are not liked in these chat rooms. But we're going to do it because people that we say things about have the right to defend themselves. And so, you know, and that's that, you know.
And it's not like LEECOLE's hitting these people up. These people are hitting up LEECOLE.
Yes. I mean, I'm getting so many emails from people now, threats from people now. It's like unbelievable. I can't even describe it. The threats I laugh at, but just emails from some people, I mean, I've attacked, and they're emailing me and saying to me, hey, you know, can we sit down and talk about this? You know, so, you know, and this has been like 4 or 5 guys now. Some guys I won't even bother with. And I'm not going to say their names, but I just won't bother with them because it's not. But what I'm trying to say, it's working. You know, it's working. These guys are, you know, these guys are underrun. And I don't even want them to be underrun. I want them to stop adding to the shit they did and stop glorifying when you're a rat. If you're a rat, fess up to being a rat. If you're not a rat, come on this show and tell us why you're not a rat. You know, there's word on the streets all the time about rats. And would you say, Caneshade, when you hear words on the street, a lot of times they're true?
When someone's accusing someone of being a rat, the first thing I say, I want to see paperwork first.
Right.
I always want to see the paperwork. I'm not going to call someone a rat if I don't know the paper. But if the paperwork's there, then you're a rat. 302s, even Alpha Davids, you know, even implicating someone that's ratting too. So
Lexi Johnson, I seen some asshat on Facebook's posted the message saying your days are numbered. You know something? It could be numbered by that, or it could be numbered by God. You know, all our days are numbered. Every day we live, we lose a number in our day. So, you know, they can say my days are numbered, but talk is cheap. That's what it comes down to. And I've hurt some feelings lately, and that I know. Okay. Like Sholey, interesting stuff. Also watch John podcast. Notice he wasn't himself on latest show and been on Stephen Gilligan's podcast. He's small and UK. Yes, he is. Good work, Joe from Scotland. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate that. And we appreciate you coming in from Scotland. I know you guys are having a whole lot of trouble over there. I'm hoping that it's not as bad as it's been with the government basically taking everything down and shutting everything down. Okay, so Daily News report, Google, Alan Kaiser shooting your friend. I don't understand what that means. Yeah. So if you want to rewrite that and send it to me, I would appreciate it. I meant fat ball page. Okay. Prison gangs are more vicious than, yes, they are, of course. I mean, they're in prison. If the paperwork is there, you're a rat. Exactly. You know,
Yes.
that's exactly right. If the paperwork is there,
Mm.
I really think, thinking about it, I'm nothing special, not big or anything, but a stand-up guy, man, all my life. Hey, you know something? That's what it comes. Yeah, you know, Carlos, you remind me of my ex-brother-in-law. I had a brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, my first brother-in-law. He was named Lefty, even though he was right-handed. I could never figure that one out.
Mm.
And I was married to my first wife, and he lived in the South Bronx. But you look just like him, you know. Okay, so okay, let's see. Dan says, I think he was given website search terms for prior questions on reports. Let's see here. We got, in life, you don't have to stand tall, but you have to stand up. You never know who could help Mr. Carlos.
Mhm.
That's true. It's like, you know, and this is the point we're at. You know, when rats try to act like tough guys, you know, and here's what I always said. Sooner or later, something bad's going to happen because you got all these rats coming out. And then, Caneshade, have you noticed that the rats are always saying they're not a rat, but the other guy is a rat?
Pointing the fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that dude's a rat. Despite the fact that I have 200 302s, that guy's a rat.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why people call each other. If you're a rat, just face up and say, look, he's a rat just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lefty Two Guns, yep. Carlos, born and raised in the Bronx. Chances are you knew my ex-wife. Okay. Have you ever been to New York at all?
I have. Well, yes, but Buffalo, New York. I haven't been into the city.
Oh,
I
you
have
haven't been-
family. I
you
have
haven't
family
been-
in Buffalo, New York. Yes. I haven't
Yeah.
been to the city. No.
I remember the first time I was in the South Bronx, I was walking with my wife to see her family, and the Spanish guy at the corner looks at me and goes, "Gringo in the neighborhood." I'll never forget that. Okay. Rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. Now, he's been dead quite a while, hasn't he?
I don't even know who Anthony Bourdain is. I'm sorry.
No problem. Would you compare Stolen Valor to Elite? Here's what I think of Elite. I think Elite's done some bad stuff in his life, and he's a tough enough guy, and he's embellishes what he's done. And he doesn't have to. His story, probably by itself, is pretty fascinating. Why embellish it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think any guy that lived in the street, it's obvious. It's obvious he spent a couple of years around John Jr., so John Jr. must have seen something there. But, you know, would you say that? Would you say that what he's done in his life, he should just stick with that and not embellish? Caneshade?
As far as I don't know. I don't, and I said this multiple times in this show. I don't think A-Light would be where he's at right now if he didn't do the fabrication stuff. He like because what he's just an average, street guy that from the late '80s was associated with Gotti Jr. and he just blew up the whole story. You know how many people could do what A-Light does that they don't? They probably known Junior back in the days. They could make a big novella, a big thing, but they don't do it. A-Light is capitalizing off of John Gotti Jr.'s friendship.
Just with the names of his books. Some people buy the books and they don't even realize that it's not a Gotti book. It's an anti-Gotti book.
It happened to me. I was a victim of that Gotti's Rules book on audio.com. I bought it a few years back thinking, oh, wow, cool. This is a John Gotti story. And then it had this guy bashing him. I'm like, what did I just buy right here?
Yeah. Well, it's actually very smart marketing when they did it. How many people did that? They bought it because they thought it was a pro Gotti book.
And it had Gotti's picture in the front, Gotti Jr.'s picture in the front.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee, did you say lead on Chris? Yes. Matter of fact, yes, I did. And he was saying that he was selling the baseball bat because of baseball, even though he's never said that before. So, okay. Why be what you're not? when what you're not is going to come out the same way everything else did. Yeah, but the problem is when you get certain fanboys and they like you, they're just not they don't believe anybody. They get like bunkered down. That's like the Sammy fanboys when I was talking about the Kaiser murder. And they wanted to know, basically with the Kaiser murders, there was two guys, and they called the kid to the car. He got shot in the chest. He was dead when he got hit in the chest, goes to the ground, and then they blew his face off. A 16-year-old kid. And there was two guys there, and Sammy Gravano was one of them. And he was the boss. He's the one that he looked at him and said, hit him, kill him. That's what it comes down to. I mean, and people are making excuses why this is okay. You guys can make those excuses. I don't really give a shit, but I know I'm in the right on this one. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's like he's been using Gotti's name since day one. Yeah. That's marketing, but how, not only he has, but when he's dealing with these book companies, you don't think that they're doing the same thing? These major publishing companies and stuff are the author, but just by putting the book up there and using the name.
I've lost a lot of respect from the author of that book, George Anastasia. I used to think of him as a respectable author, but to go ahead and write that book, he wrote a fiction book,
Yeah. And that's another thing I want to talk about. When they called that kid Kaiser up to the car, you have to understand, this is Brooklyn. That kid could have looked over and recognized Sammy Gravano, and Sammy Gravano's calling him to the car. Those kids look up to those gangsters. So he walked right over to the car. Probably saying, oh, wow, Sammy Gravano's calling me over. He didn't know that he was being called over to be killed. No one knows except Sammy the real story. Yes, he does dispute the story. Of course he disputes the story, but he can't dispute the autopsies. The autopsy said the kid was shot in the chest and he was shot in the face, and that he was walking toward them, not running toward them like Sammy said. And Sammy also said that he was a drug addict, known in the area to be a drug addict, and they found no drugs in his system. And then Sammy went on his podcast recently and was making excuses why Alan Kaiser was a drug addict. He was basically making an excuse why Alan Kaiser was okay to shoot him.
On the report, Lee, did it tell you what time of night it was?
11:30.
11:30. Okay.
Then the father went over. Just think about this. The mother and father's home, and they're called. And the son was walking home a girl. Just dropped her off. Can you imagine when they called the father and said, come identify your son's body laying on the ground underneath the blanket?
Wow.
So the father went over, was driving, the whole thing is really, really sad story. And for this man to go on and then embellish it and call the kid a drug addict, that tells you everything you need to know about Sammy Gravano. Dispute. David, let me ask you a question. Do you believe anything Sammy says? Half his stories are full of fucking lies. Just sit there and listen to his stories. Anybody from the streets, you can listen to his stories and know that he's adding to those stories. Mm-hmm. That's all fine and good, adding to the stories. People like those stories, fine. Mm-hmm. But the minute did he embellish the story about that kid and them executing them, and the guy that was with him also died because Sammy wanted him dead and went and asked for permission to execute him because he never wanted that to come back on him. And the only reason, and not only that, Sammy, when he talked to the FBI on the original and gave a confession, it was totally different than what he said in the show. The confession, he admits that he told Boreal, what's his name?
Gene Burke.
No, it was the guy that was with him.
Melito.
Melito.
Yeah.
Sammy admits in the confession that he told Melito to shoot him. Mm-hmm. So, and now he's changing the story. But people don't want to do the research. They just want to,
David says, I'm just saying what he said.
Yeah, but he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve you to mention what he says because, I mean, dude, he's like the little crypt keeper sitting in the basement. Hey, check this out. The house that they're using. Do you guys see that big house they're using in the show? Did you see the big house that Sammy's in?
Are you talking about his YouTube videos? Or
No, there's a big house in a new show coming up with his daughter and the granddaughter.
The one that was yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, I seen a little bit of it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that's not their house?
No, it's not.
No.
Whose
It's
house
just it's a prop.
Mm.
It's a prop.
Mm.
That's it. You know, that's how fake everything is. The house is a prop.
Well, where he does the videos, that's a prop too. That's really not a basement with a fireplace. That fireplace, I don't think is even real.
Because he still knows that nobody can know where he lives. You know, there's still people out there that, but you know, everything he does is a prop. It's all fake. He's got to be laughing all the way to the bank saying, oh my God, I can't believe this is going on. Okay.
Yeah. RPMJ says it's a Hollywood house.
Yeah, it's a Hollywood house. Like when you go to, when you watch the Kardashians, same thing. Those are all Hollywood houses. That's not even their houses. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll show inside of the house. And like if you look at the recent show with Gravano and his daughter and granddaughter, if you look at the house, how clean it was, you could tell it was just a staged house. Mm-hmm. That's all it was, a staged house.
Mind Someone Else's Business says, I wonder if Elite needed permission to use Junior's pics. Like, that's interesting. He used a lot of the pics of Junior.
I don't think so. If they are out there in public, he doesn't need them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like when, I'll give you an example. If I talk about Elite, as long as I talk about what's out in public and other people have mentioned, he can't come after you for that. He could. Slander is so hard to prove, you know. But I'll give you an example. Like they like to flag stations and try to shut them down and stuff. But YouTube's onto it, you know, because a lot of people do it, and YouTube's especially onto the genre of the mafia things because it used to be a big thing to flag stations. They can still flag them, but they'll let you get them back up quicker. But it can still be done, and that's the part that sucks.
Oh, Carlos, yeah, he had another one. Go ahead, read that one. I'll read the other Carlos.
Okay, it's the Guardian has been used to sell newspapers, books, and documentaries. It sure has been. Okay.
And then Carlos has another good one. That is the key, Lee. No one researches anything. It's because most don't question or check a few sources. Draw their own logical opinion. That's very interesting right there.
Yeah. And David, I like David's asking some good questions right now. Appreciate it, David. Listen, we may disagree, but I appreciate the fact that you're standing there asking the questions and you're being respectful. As per Sammy, he was crouched down in the back. He looked up. I believe it was Ali Boy who shot him, claimed the kid rushed the car. That's not what happened. He called him over. Sammy said it. You know something, all you got to do is read his confession, his original confession. You can actually go into newspapers and find his original confession.
And it wasn't Ali Boy, it was Louis Melito that
Louis Melito
so-called killed him. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's two stories, there's three stories, but basically the two stories is one, he looked at Melito and ordered the hit like this. He pointed to the kid. Who knows whether he pulled the trigger? No one knows. There was only 3 people at that scene that night. And two of them are dead and one's alive. But see, when you're around Sammy, everybody that's around Sammy was dead. You know, they're dead. His brother-in-law, it doesn't matter.
But Lee, picture you're 16 years old, right? And it's 11:30 at night. Can you, and you see some crazy shit that goes down, are you going to rush towards someone?
I don't care if you have the baddest ass around, you're not going to rush toward nobody.
That's crazy. Just rush right.
And you don't think that people knew what Louis Melito looked like in that neighborhood? You don't think they knew what Sammy? You don't think they knew who those guys were? They're like heroes in that neighborhood.
And you're from New York City. You live
Yeah.
there.
I live in
People mind their
Kingston.
business. People
Yeah.
mind their, if there's some
I
shit
live.
goes down, they're gonna run away, not go towards a gun.
I lived on Bragg Street, right in Sheepshead Bay, and I used to take a long walk every day, right up Kings Highway, all the way to the subway station. To sit, and I passed that spot all the time. That was back in the day, and and what Sammy's saying is it's just not true. It's
But if
just
you
not
see some
true.
crazy shit popping off, you're gonna you're not gonna interfere unless
I've
it's like an old lady or something horrible happening. But
I would say about 10 times in my life, I've been around when gunshots busted up, that started happening. I never seen anybody run toward gunshots because the original story was no, Sammy said that they were trying to shoot the biker. And then Sammy also said that these bikers came in. Picture this, you're 5 bikers. You go into a known mafia area and you go into Sammy Gravano's bar and you tell Sammy Gravano you're taking the bar over. That Can you picture 5 bikers driving into a mafiosa area and going in a mafiosa bar here and saying we're taking it over?
that's crazy.
No. The reality is that Sammy Gravano was trying to muscle in on that bar. That's the real story that you do not hear. He said, you know what? All you got to do, it's obvious what Sammy did. Sammy was using parts of the movie from Bronx Tale, where the bikers are in the bar, and putting it into a story. When he started saying that, I said, man, this sounds like the Bronx Tale with the bikers in the bar. He did get into a fight. He did have a cast on it. He did. He probably got his ass whipped. He doesn't want to admit it. And this guy, Aldo, that did it, he claims we shot at Aldo. But every time they talk about shooting at somebody, they're not alive no more. That's convenient. Whenever you want to say that somebody was involved with something, make sure they're dead. This way they can't come back and give evidence. Lexi says, number 1 says any of these guys did was okay. Thing is, if you know what that world, you're going to take everything with a pinch of salt. Street guys want to be king shit, but the stories are great, true or not. Yeah, they are, without a doubt. Lexi, you're absolutely right. The stories are great, but it's not great. The story is not great when you tell a family that their son was a heroin addict and they know you're lying and they watch it on TV. The woman was telling me how much she was crying that they were saying that about her brother and they knew it wasn't true, Lexi. Okay. And when I did that show the other day, do you know the Kaiser's sister said that she liked our show so much that she cried, a happy cry after the show. So it doesn't matter how many times I was attacked or who said what. Just the fact that she was happy with the show we did, because I had people say, you barely talked about Kaiser. I thought we talked about Kaiser for like a half hour. I mean, how much more can you talk about him?
And you laid down the whole report.
Yeah. Okay, this is Lee. You should play Sammy's version of the incident from his site. And well, see, here's the thing. I can't. It's his property.
Yeah.
And he will go after me if I played it. That's you're right. Sites like Mob Rats, they do it because they don't care about getting taken down because they'll just open up. He's a mob rat. He doesn't show his face to nobody. Nobody even knows who this dude is. So, and he just, like the other day, he was showing that horrible series on MTV with Gravano's daughter and granddaughter. It's horrible. I mean, they were dressed, oh my gosh, I can't even.
What accent do you think Mob Rat exposed? Like, what is it, a Philly accent?
I can't really.
It sounds more Philly. It sounds like a Philly accent more than a New York accent.
Yeah, but the guy's funny as hell. I mean, I watch him, I can't stop laughing. I think he's a comedian, I'll be honest with you, because his jokes are so sharp. Okay, and that's why I actually thought about playing his version here. But, unfortunately, they're really strict about that kind of stuff, and it's considered a copyright violation. But like you said, though, anybody can go to Sammy's show. There's 2 things I would tell you to look at Sammy's show. Look at the one where he talks about the guys with the penis pumps, the penis, the fake penises. and how he looked at them, and he was in a room and stuff. Watch that one. Or matter of fact, you made a video of that, didn't you?
Yes, yes, I did.
And where can they find that video?
Hold on, let me put it public because I unlisted it, but I'll put it public right now. Hold on. Yeah, it's basically we were talking about Sammy as far as the accusations of him being homosexual. But I believe I used the clip. I don't think you could play it because
No,
I
right.
that's
Right.
why I unlisted it. That's why
Right.
it's not public anymore. So
Yeah, but it was real creepy. I remember my partner looking at it, and she goes, "That dude is creepy looking," and he's talking about watching. He's going, "Yeah, okay, show me how it rises. Hit the button." I'm sorry. What man wants to see another man's penis rise unless that's what they want to see? You know, I cannot picture telling a man, "I want to see your penis rise up." You know, and when he was talking about it, people were like, "Oh, just." I'm like, "Why are you talking about this dude? This is like so creepy. You look like the little crypt keeper with the hat, and you're talking about Paul Castellano's penis. Creepy. I'm sorry, that's as creepy as you can get." FBI should just comment on the YouTube channel and put him out of. Yes, you know, actually, I believe that if he's going to be out, there's a son of Sam Law. They went after him with his book one time, and Sammy was furious because they won in court, and they took the money from the books and gave it to his victims. And now, but you know what? I'll guarantee you that all this money Sammy's making now is not in his name. It's in a corporate name. It's in one of his children's names. He's not going to leave it out there. He's just not going to. But I do know that from what I understand, something big's going down within the next 30 days. I don't know what it is, but I'm told something big is going down.
wow.
So we'll just have to see what's going down. Sammy has, yes.
Odin.
And then he's talking to these, and now he's a great civil rights activist. Sammy with the tattoo of Odin. You can't make this shit up. I have people argue with me saying, "Well, you have to understand that Sammy got that because it was business." So he got an Odin tattoo of a white supremacist group because it was business.
It's crazy.
Okay. So let's see. David says, I am just saying what he said. I understand, David, and I respect that. No problem at all. You're just saying what he's saying. But, you know, you got to take something from who says it, too. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking, you know. Kevin says, Lee, I can't wait to hear the huge, big time gangsters you ran into in the combat zone. Yes. You know, actually, I had someone told me that the Venus brothers were not as big as Sammy Gavano. They actually wrote that to me. And the Venus brothers ran the combat zone, which came to about 20. It came to about, I say 20. They were bars. They were topless bars, and they were the coin where you go watch the peep shows.
And we'll find out more about that when Fat Bald Sicilian interviews you, right?
Yes,
is that Sunday?
Will. Yes, this Sunday. I believe he said it's going to be right around 7:00. And I'll talk more about that. And then I'm going to put that on my station, the Combat Zone. Not station. They get mad at me when I say station. Channel. Okay. Sammy did a story on Whitey Bulger, and he had all the characters wrong. Look at the comments from that video. Yes, and you know something? I met Whitey Bulger twice. I was working in the Combat Zone, and he came in with a group of guys into a bar called the Sixes. It was 666 was the name of the bar. And he went in the back and he sat down with a group of guys. Then Teddy Venus, he came over to me and he said to me, "You see that guy in the corner? Do not go near him. Do not talk to him, because he takes things wrong and he does really bad things." So I never went near him. And then he came in again. But that time I was near him, kind of stares at me. All I remember about him more than anything, he had these unbelievable blue eyes. They were like pierced right through you. But all I remember was when Teddy said to me, "Do not go near that man." you know, that guy was such a badass that the mafia was scared of him. And and this was their territory that he was walking into. That's how bad of a man he was.
And he put a lot of mobsters away, Italian mobsters.
Yes, he put the Aljula brothers. They ran the area, and Prince Street. They had a location, and what he did is he wanted to get them out of the way. So, and you'll see in the movie, but they don't really go into it. But he was working with the FBI, his buddy, and he turned evidence and gave them times where they were, what was going on that he knew about, and they raided, and they brought down the mob there because Whitey Bulger basically ratted them out using the FBI. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the comment section, but it jumped. But I believe Ricky Rice wanted to know who was the shooter as far as the Alan Kaiser, or what Sammy, who Sammy said was the shooter, and it was Louis Melito. Sammy claims that Louis Melito was the one who shot Alan Kaiser because.
And the only reason Sammy told the FBI is because Sammy wasn't sure whether somebody. See, what happened after the shooting, Sammy knew he fucked up. So he went and he met with the bosses because they killed a civilian. And that's a big thing. And so Sammy went back and was making up stories to the bosses about why they killed the civilian kid. And so when Sammy started ratting, he knew that when they said to Sammy, okay, we want the list of who you killed. Nobody ever knew about the kid. The kid's murder was unsolved for 20 years. And then what happened, and Sammy brought him up and said, I shot this kid. And then he told the story that Louis Melito was there and he ordered him to shoot the kid. He said that in the confession.
And it's easy for him to put Louis Melito in the spot because he killed Louis Melito. So in 1991, when he was telling the FBI all this, Louis Melito can't say shit because he killed Louis Melito.
And there's many people.
How do we even know that? Like, he just threw him in the mix just because he could, because Louis Melito can't even say anything about it because he killed him.
Yeah, and Louis, why did he kill Louis Melito? Because Louis Melito was a partner of his. Louis Melito was upset when Sammy betrayed him. Louis Melito thought he was going to be a captain for Sammy, and he made somebody else a captain. So Louis Melito was really upset, and they had a falling out. So Sammy went and got the okay to take him out. And this guy Melito was his best friend. They were like brothers, man. They were together like this. Wherever you seen Sammy, you seen Louis. That's how they were.
You know, I just came up with an idea. You know who I see does a lot of interviews is the wife of Louis Melito. Now, she's a Jewish lady.
Yeah.
We should see if we could hit her. She does a lot of interviews. She did a Howard Stern interview to promote her book that she wrote. We should hit her up, see if we can get an interview with her. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, a lot of people don't like her because of the fact that she kind of glorifies her husband.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and her husband was a brutal killer. But you are right. That would be an interesting interview. But definitely, let's see. Louis Melito's family sued Sammy to get the proceeds from his books, and other victims did too. Yeah, and they won, you know, and it's too bad. The only person that really should have gotten a damn thing was the Kaiser kid's family, because all the other people that he killed were part of, you know, they weren't civilians. Alan Kaiser was a civilian. And, you know, for Louis Melito's wife to be suing anybody was kind of ridiculous. So the wife of the man that pulled the trigger on Kaiser decided that she wanted to sue Sammy for killing her husband, Louis Melito. You know, the whole thing is weird, you know. But when it comes to when it comes to money, though, oh God, watch out when it comes to money. Brooklyn guy Vinny Baracco says, "I've been starting my channel. I'm from Bath Avenue. I love to talk to you if possible. Love your content." You know, Brooklyn guy. if you got a pen, I'm going to give you my email right now. And don't any of you freaks be writing me freaky shit. It's LEECOLE, LEECOLE 1010 at Gmail. LEECOLE1010 at Gmail. I'd love to talk to you, maybe have you on my show too. So please get a hold of me. I'd like to hear Bath Avenue stories. Jimmy gives some good ones, but I like to hear some other people too. So really, definitely be interested. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Lexi. Okay. I wonder if Bolger used a penis pump. Yeah, you know that guy, man. And that's another story. Oh, I think this is an A-Light story. He was talking about Bolger being found, and there was no money when he was found, and he was broke and stuff. When they found him, they found $800,000 in the wall. They found him at an apartment in California with him and the woman, and he had $800,000 still on him, and he was on the run for several years. And the funny thing is, they kept putting him all over the world. I remember all those reports that used to come back. We spotted Whitey Bulger, and here he was in California, just hanging out as an old guy. And the guy was full of piss and vinegar when they arrested him. Okay, let's see. We got Whitey put all competition away. Italian drug dealers. He did, and that's unusual because usually the Irish they knew better than to mess with the mob. Whitey didn't know better. Whitey went after the mob to take out the mob. And Boston's the one area where the Italians knew not to go into that area and mess with the Irish because they were a bunch of professional bank robbers. I mean, it was a killer area. The Italians knew not to mess with them. That's probably the only time you could say that. The Italians were not scared of the Westies because they were all alcoholics, but they were scared of Whitey Bulger. There's no doubt.
Lee, let me ask you a question. Did you see the movie Departed?
Yes, that was
Yes, it was based on Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
Did you see the one with Johnny Depp? Of course you did. The Black Mass.
Yes, it was awesome.
What do you think is better? Which one do you think is better? Departed.
Black Mass. Black Mass.
It's more.
It's more accurate. It's much more accurate. And the way Johnny Depp did that role was phenomenal. I mean, he just changed his whole image. He actually came out looking like him. But that's Johnny
With
Depp.
The eyes too, right?
Yeah, yep, he did. Yes. I'll say, great. I appreciate that. Don't be messing with my guys. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yes, Connolly got 12 years. He got off kind of easy because Connolly was responsible for giving up people that Whitey murdered. He would go to Whitey and tell Whitey Bulger, look, this guy's going to snitch on you. He's already a government snitch, and Whitey Bulger would kill them. And yet Connolly, who's an FBI agent going rogue, got only 12 years, which is kind of crappy. Okay, let's see. So did you deal with Whitey Bulger or just in the same room but told not to get near him? That's right. I got told not to get near him. I wouldn't. I thank God I didn't deal with him because when you dealt with Whitey Bulger, it was like dealing with Sammy Gravano. They would kill anybody. Whitey Bulger had one guy named Kevin Weeks that he was very close to, but nobody else he was close to. Kevin Weeks was his killer.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, this is just hypothetical. You know, back in the days in the combat zone, you were, living that life. What would have happened if Whitey Bulger would have, came up to you and asked you for a favor or told you he would do a favor for you? What would have been your response? Like how you would have done that?
Well, back then, what they did is there was he had his brother. His brother worked the streets, right? And Teddy, he worked up in the office. I would have said to Whitey, well, I'm going to go talk to Teddy's brother, and I would have went and talked to Teddy's brother and let Teddy's brother handle it. That's it. I would no. Because if they told me like that, they knew what they were talking about. These were a bunch of Irish guys in Boston. They can make you disappear easily. They'll wait for you. And This is back in the late 70s and the 80s. This is a tough area with the combat zone. It was,
Yeah.
you know, it was like Times Square. There were just two very tough areas in the early 70s and the 80s. Okay. So did you deal with what? Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, without a doubt. That's exactly what happened. He knew too much. Hey, Angel. Angel's here. Okay. Thanks so much. I knew people hung with the elite was more crazy than that. Did he have the balls until he did have balls until chased? Yes, I would say he did until he was chased. Exactly. And then, you know, he kind of had his balls cut off when he was chased. Okay. See, I didn't realize I was that far behind, man.
Oh man, yeah. These comments go in really, really quick.
Okay, let's see. JW, this was a good book, not just on Bulger and his brother, but corrupt politics. I recommend it. The Brothers Bulger, how they terrorized and corrupted Boston for a quarter century. Yes. And you know what I talked about also when I was in the combat zone, and I mentioned this yesterday, I'm trying not to repeat myself, but I used to go, Teddy Venus used to hand me a bag of money when I went up to the offices. We would bring the receipts out of the bars and out of the all the other places. And we'd take the paper bags full of money and bring them up, shopping bags. We'd bring them upstairs and give them to him. And then he would take a bunch of money and put it into a bag and hand it to me. And I would go down to the stairs, and there'd be a police lieutenant in the same car with a sergeant, the same two every time. And I would hand them the bag of money, and they would say, hey, thanks, kid, and drive away. That was how corrupt the Boston Police Department was. They took the money in the street, and they didn't care who seen them. They knew nobody was going to say nothing. And the reason that Teddy Venus was paying these cops was because they were protecting them in the street. Like if a group of kids came in, and this would happen sometimes. I'll give you an example. One time the New England Patriots came in, some drunk football players. And they were threatening to break up some places. And I remember one of the football players, he was this big Oklahoma corn-eating monster, and he was drunk. And I remember how scared I was. This dude, I'm like, who the hell's going to mess with this guy if he gets out of control? They had the cops. The cops were paid off to protect him. They were the protections for the combat zone. The corrupt cops that were being paid by Teddy Venus were protecting his businesses. That's how corrupt it was. And anybody that comes from the zone knows what I'm talking about.
I want to read something in the comment section. Johnny Alito says, anyone wants to buy my signed super duper gangster baseball bat?
Super duper. Come on. Where do you get that super duper from? Grew up with Bobsies and worked on the Rest Bay 20. So yeah, it was. You know something, there's nothing like that area in New York. I mean, that was just a brutal area, and it was definitely a recruitment area. It's like Jimmy Calandra said, it was a recruitment area. There's no doubt. Okay, if Bulger had been broke, he'd have been caught fast. He had help too. Oh, without a doubt, he had the FBI helping him. He had corrupt FBI agents telling him everything that was going on. You know what else was loosely based off Whitey Bulger? The movie with Sean Penn when they killed his daughter, the two kids. That great movie. I can't think of.
I think I know what you're talking about. The one in the early 90s?
Yes. That was kind of based off that character also. Because if you remember, it was the FBI agent and all that stuff. Vinny says, the thing that destroyed me with Elite was selling the autograph bats. Really changing, huh? Yeah. You know what, Brooklyn? You hit it right on the button. And that's what turned a lot of people off. Lexi, people can say that they want Whitey was 100% badass, but he's a rat because he had feds working for him. Laugh out loud, what mobsters want on the Fed. Yeah, it's true. But you know what? He did it for his business, which was even more incredible. These rats usually do it to get out of jail. At that time, he was using them. He was giving them useless information. And then finally, Connolly came to him and said, look, I need something. He says, they're pressuring me. So then Whitey said to him, well, what I'll do is I'll give you the mafia in Boston, and he gave them. It was one of the biggest busts in the history of Boston, and they took down the Algero brothers. So Conley just got out of jail. Okay. Right, Vinny, people respect you more if you say, look, I'm broke. I'm selling these bats to make money straight, and don't tell kids to be good, but buy my bat in case you need to bat somebody. You got a good point there. How many kids, say you're a kid in Brooklyn and you buy his bat and you say, hey, he uses it, and you go bat somebody,
That was another good movie. Lexi Johnson said Mystic River. That was an awesome movie with Sean Penn.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was based. They used the character of Whitey Bulger for Sean Penn.
Okay.
Like he was the Irish guy and he controlled the area. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fantastic movie. Okay, let's see. It's speaking of Whitey, that LeBosk Brothers movie, Me, Myself, and Irene. There was a character. Remember that? That guy, right? I remember that Whitey guy, and he was like, he wanted to kill him, I think. That was funny as hell. Right, Weeks didn't kill, but he was his muscle. Said movie wasn't close to reality. But the reality is though that Whitey was a vicious killer. Mm-hmm. There were a couple killing scenes in there that was true, like the one in the street where he killed the snitch, and the snitch was given to him by Conley. Conley basically killed the guy. Okay, Caneshade, you're making me want to cig. I quit 9 years ago.
Oh.
Oh, Greg, how you doing tonight? Appreciate you dropping by. I still like fought with Castro's sons with Chavez in Venezuela. Why won't interviews ask for details? Well, everybody's had their own different type of life. People have lives that we wouldn't even realize they had sometimes, Caneshade, okay, we already read that one. And then Thin Creek, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. These things come in so fast, and this is because we have 100 people watching. The video in the Ravenite Club with A-Light sent him into the candy store, buy him Snicker bars.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like John Gotti in the surveillance footage. It looked like John Gotti Jr. was just babysitting A-Light, and the A-Light was so happy to be around the guy.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. What happens if A-Light came forward and said, I'm tired of you bashing me. I want to come on your show. Well, I wonder what happened. Would people be mad at me? I always, I just wondered that. There was a lot of half-breeds, Irish Italians in Boston. The head of the Italian mob was half Irish, Cadillac Frank. Yeah, yep. But the guys that ran it were full Italians. That whole Boston Combat Zone, those guys were all Italian. The Venus brothers were Italians, and they got permissions. And they got permissions from the Mafia brothers there that ran the areas, Algero brothers. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'll get butchered for saying it wrong. But they gave the Venus brothers permission to run the combat zone. Handy dandy baseball bat, one of the many recruitment areas in Brooklyn, without a doubt. Okay, let's see. Cosmo, I agreed Italians were not scared of Bulger. I agree. Italians were not scared of Bulger. That's not true. They were scared of Bulger. I'm sorry. I heard this from Teddy Venus himself. And that was then, at that time, Sean. I just want to tell you that. When he came in, just the way they acted, they were on their toes. They were very nervous when he showed up in the combat zone with his guys. You got to remember, Whitey Bulger could pick up the phone and have 40 drunken Irishmen down there in a couple minutes. And that's the truth. And
okay, Mind Someone Else's Business said if he came on your show, there would be 5,000 people watching at least. You think so? You think there'd be 5,000 people if you had this elite guy on your show?
Yeah, and I couldn't win on that one because even if I asked him tough questions, I would be told that I let him off the hook and didn't ask him tough questions.
Can't please everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened with Gunner. But gosh damn it, I couldn't get a word in with Gunner. I mean, I tried my best, but if people, the people that insulted me, and there were a few about when the Gunner interview, you have to remember Gunner was like, it's my partner. She goes to me, she says, I didn't like the fact that Gunner was eating on your show. He showed very little respect. Would you say, what do you think about that, Caneshade? He's gone. Okay, he just froze up. Okay. Lee, I wouldn't be mad at your show. Okay. Lee, when are you going to sell I Got Teeth and Balls t-shirts? That's a great idea. Caneshade, did you hear that?
Yeah, I was losing reception. My bad.
Rusty Dog says, Lee, when are you going to sell I Got Teeth and Balls t-shirts? That is a great idea. Okay. Okay. He claims to be a killer. Why should he be allowed to sell a bat? Why is even an autographed baseball bat? It's not even a double-A ball player. Mind-boggling. Yes. Who would even buy this shit? That's the scary part. But he does sell them, and he gets it like a $200 for them. That's the scary part. $200 for a baseball bat.
We should see what's up as far as who's buying it. Would you like to interview someone who bought the bat and say, okay, why did you do that? Like,
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, if there's anybody, here's what Gunner said. Gunner said that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Gunner said that people that like mob stuff have no money, so he doesn't care what they think. Remember he said that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically he said that you people out here are broke, but yet A-Light's selling $200 bats.
And people are buying them.
Yeah, and people are buying them. But Gunner came
broke.
Gunner goes, I don't care. They're not going to buy my apparel because they can't afford it. He goes, Mafia guys, they're all broke. That's why they sit home and watch Mafia shows, because they're all broke. If you go back to the interview, you can see where he says that. And he didn't give a shit. He just came right out and said it. Yeah. Why do I have a feeling a lot of you guys have more money than he thinks? And maybe that's why he's not selling a lot of stuff, because you guys think that way. I'm just guessing that people have more money than he thinks.
One question I want to ask, and I was wondering, and I didn't figure out when you were interviewing Gunner, what was he eating? What was that? Sunflower seeds, peanuts? But he kept doing this, like he was putting something in his mouth during that interview. You didn't notice that, Lee?
No, I think that it was speed.
It's like sunflower seeds.
Yeah. And somebody said it was swine. So basically. Oh, last Christmas, Sammy was selling Christmas cards with his image.
Was he really?
Yeah, and before his show became big, the year he got out, he was selling autographed pictures. Mm. And people were buying them. Tons of them people were buying. And his daughter set him up where he would go into these shows and sign pictures. Mm. It's kind of demented, really. Mm. Let's put it. Would you rather have an autograph of John Gotti or Sammy the Bull?
I mean, I got John Gotti's penny right here. I bought for $4.99 on eBay like a few years ago. Well, they claim it's John Gotti's penny, but I
damn dude. I got a penny from Whitey Bulger. You want to buy it? Let me get it out of my pocket.
I thought it was cool because I like. Let me be fair. I like to collect sports cards, and this is kind of like a sports, like a collectible with the penny. It was cool. I know, when I bought it, I knew it wasn't actually John Gotti's penny, but they advertised that it was. But I knew what I was buying when whatever. And I just thought.
What year is the penny?
1987. Or 1987 is the penny.
Wow,
it's pretty cool though. I'll give it away. Like I said about giveaways, I'll give that penny away.
So what I'm going to do is when I find a penny from 1971, I'm going to say it was Mickey Mantle's penny.
Well, make sure you have the card though. If it was just the penny, I would have not have did it. But $4.99 for a little cute little card with the penny. I see. You know what I mean?
Oh, I also have a penny from the day Roberto Clemente was killed.
For real, really?
No. He was eating fish bait.
Oh, when he was doing, you're talking about
Yeah,
Gunner when he was doing
because he
that.
likes to fish.
Yeah.
You could thank the 1980 media for Gravano's fame. You know,
Mm,
that's right. That whole, you know something, that whole story, think about it. That whole story is amazing.
mhm.
Never ever did anybody with that many murders only do 3 years in jail. 3 to 4 years. He was supposed to do 5. They
Mhm.
even let him out early. And then he moved to Colorado.
Mhm.
And and then from there he wound up there in Arizona. And then he went on to start a huge drug empire. It was the biggest synthetic drug empire in the United States. And he
But
gets arrested. And on top of that, he took out 5 contracts on 5 different people he wanted to kill, including Ron Kuby, who was a lawyer. And now the man still walks the street.
it's crazy. And you know what? If the government wants you, they'll get you. They'll excuse a guy who committed 19 murders and a 16-year-old boy for one guy.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
one guy.
crazy. If the FBI wants you, they'll do it. They'll do anything. They'll do anything to get you. It's crazy.
Sean says, "Can't wait to hear Lee the gangster. They also called him the waiter." Okay, Sean. With Sean, I never know what to expect. You know, Sean just tells it straight, so I respect that. You sell what others buy. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's true. That's what they do. You know what? You're right. You know, if Sammy's signing pictures and people are buying them, that's smart business. He
Mhm.
has to sell them. I mean, and it's obvious he was making a lot of money off that. But can you imagine when this YouTube thing started? And he was like, "Holy shit!" You know, it's like,
Dollar signs.
yeah, it's like, whew. Everyone's still hanging on the edge of their seats for Hootie's 45-hour 3-part story about Vinnie Gorgeous at Rouse. That should have been done with one 5-minute clip. Blood
Yeah.
on my fucking eyes. Okay. Okay. Poor Hootie. Okay. Lee, I don't begrudge anyone trying to make money on fake. Yeah, you know, neither do I. He's out of jail. He might as well be making money if he's going to be out of jail.
Yeah.
And he's figuring out the best way to do it. But my problem is it's not that he's making money, it's that he lied about murdering a kid and how it happened. I would like to know that I like and travel to and from UK and interact. You know something? Boom. I was wondering the same thing because these countries don't let felons in. They're very strict about that.
I have an interesting question for David. David, what if someone murdered one of your relatives and then you see them on YouTube making millions of dollars? Would you feel a certain type of way? You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. There's people out there that feel, you know. What do you think about
Yeah.
that, Lee?
Well, you know something, the woman his sister's a wonderful woman, and
Mm,
just the way she described the whole thing about what type of brother he was,
mm,
it's just very sad. You know, he'd be my age if he was alive,
mm.
and it's just a sad thing. Bill Mack, right? He wouldn't know the inside of the voting booth if it hit him across the jaw with a bang. That's another thing. He says he's a big Trump supporter, but how can he vote?
Mm.
You know, so, but then again, a lot of people voted last election that shouldn't have been voting.
Nah. Yeah.
So I guess we can't really say that, can we? Okay. Who's on par with A-Light? So cringe. Okay, Anthony, there's a mafia guy named Hootie. Okay.
Where's Blowfish at?
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Oh, John Connolly just released dying of cancer. Well, you know, that's a sad story. You know, he was an FBI agent. He sold out everything and he doesn't get to see anything out there. And he's out now and he's going to die of cancer. So, Carl says these rats still have friends in the government because they still give information.
Yes.
You know something? You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Carlos is always on point with these comments, man.
The FBI, the most corrupt law enforcement agency in the world, they use unethical practices to get convictions. And here in Europe, and sentences in RICO. Yes, the RICO Act is the biggest scam of all time. The RICO Act puts innocent people in jail. That's what the RICO Act does. They go after everybody, and this is how they get people to snitch with the RICO Act, because they can give you sentences that are unbelievable, you know. But you know, I'm going to tell you a story. There was this guy in Chicago that got shot, I think 46 times. He was released. He was a rapper. He got released a couple days ago. He got released from the county jail in Chicago. Right outside the jail, this is how you know shit's bad in Chicago. Right outside the jail, they shot him 46 times. And then the jail guy, the guy that runs the jail, said that they didn't want to release him, but he had like 30 gun charges, and they released him. But how do you shoot somebody 46 times outside of a prison in the middle of the city?
It's crazy.
Is that when you know your city's gone? You live in Miami. Could you even picture that happening in Miami? Oops. He lives about 150 miles from Miami. Okay.
Who lives 150 miles away from Miami?
Well, no one's going to mess with you. You got Jose Masvidal living down by you.
No. Hey, I live in Homestead. I live in Homestead, Florida.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, I don't care.
So what do you think? You would ever see someone get shot 46 times out in the street right in front of the jail in Miami?
I've never seen that happen.
It's unbelievable.
Well, in the 80s, it was wild down here. The Dayland shooting, the Dayland Mall shootings.
Oh, that was
with the cocaine cowboys. Yeah. So there was a lot of crazy shit popping down here. Miami used to be the murder capital of the world. All right.
Funny, I was in a restaurant in Brooklyn with my then girlfriend, now wife. You're lucky you didn't slip up and say my old girlfriend, not my wife, when a piece of sheetrock fell from the ceiling. I was pissed until I realized it was Sammy's place. You know, Sammy had a lot of places. You know, that's the funny thing. Fatball Sicilian, you're right, bro, but not in Florida. I didn't even realize that. Fatball's okay. Oh, okay. How many times did they hit him? But the guys he killed were all savages except the kid. Yep. Well, the brother-in-law is questionable. They don't know that. As a matter of fact, he also took a hit when he was in Florida. When he was down in Arizona, he also went to the white supremacist group and asked them to hit his new brother-in-law, his brother-in-law. And also, he wanted to take a contract out on his son's girlfriend who spit in his face. So he wanted to hit his girl. He wanted to take out his son's girlfriend and his own brother-in-law. So, you know, think about that. His son's girlfriend, because he spit in her face, she probably had, hey, she's my hero. Mm-hmm. She spit right in his face. How many people would like to spit in his face? Mm-hmm. Armenians like elite are Italy's contact with, yeah, you know, you don't mess with the Armenians. You know, there's no doubt about that, man. There's some badasses, those Armenians. No, I remember one time my brother, they were fighting with him at a mall. And they surrounded the mall because he was banging one of their girlfriends. I'll never forget that. Mm. And he was calling his friends to help him get out of there and everything. Oh, they just spent 46 bullets. They only hit him 8 times. Okay, well, maybe it was Johnny A-Light. I don't know. Yeah, well, but you know what, Christopher? Think about it, though. They fired 46 shots in front of the jail in the city of Chicago. Tell me that's not scary. I mean, and then you got a mayor there, that Beetlejuice woman. She looks just like Beetlejuice. And she's saying, my city's safe. Circling back to the Westies, I really enjoyed Sean. Yes, State of Grace, most underrated mob movie ever. Ever. Yeah. What a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
And
that's the movie that I thought you were talking about at first, but then
that's a phenomenal movie. And it really makes you understand what that area was like. And it showed with Ullman. He played the brother and an alcoholic and stuff, but that's how most of them were. They were really bad alcoholics. Damn, Sammy would take contract on you if you jaywalked in front of his house. Yeah, I'll tell you what. You know, you got to remember he's 76 years old now. You know, with love and stay until the end. You got to cast. You got to get to work. Once again, great show, Lee. We appreciate it. We're going to be out of here in about 10 minutes. We'll go for one hour and a half. I didn't think we were going to stay that long, but you know why I stay that long? It's called watch time, people. Everybody thinks, oh, he only has 1.4, but nobody has my watch time. I can guarantee you that. Carlos Munoz, of course not, Red State. Yeah, you know something, Fat Balls. So what did Carlos say? I got to see what Carlos said. I'm starting to get the feeling Fat Bull Sicilian voted for Joe Biden. I don't know why. I'm getting that feeling, Fat Bull Sicilian.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
I don't care who you voted for. That's the great thing, man. You know, you vote for whatever you want. But it's tough, though, when 7 people in one area vote for him and they're dead. Friday night club ride for me. HD Road Glide. Yes. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say? You know, we've had a nice long show. I thought we were going to stay. We're at 100 right now, 100 viewers.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome.
We've been up to 120, and we started off a little slow. Then all of a sudden, you guys started coming in, and we appreciate that. We appreciate the show yesterday. We got a lot of really good compliments on Sicilian talking about his addiction and his life of crime and overcoming them. And we averaged 30 minutes on the show yesterday, and that was a really good number. It was our second highest ever. So just wanted to tell you that, which was really good. Okay, Carlos Munoz. Fat Bull Sicilian, very intelligent. Voting rights not installed for felons. Yeah, I'm one that believes felons should be allowed to vote. I believe if you did your time and you get out, as long as you're not a child molester or a rapist, you should have the right to vote. I think a child molester and a child molester or a rapist should never be able to vote. That's automatic.
Let me ask you a question, Lee, a little off topic. Have you seen that Johnny A. Light Albanian blood video?
No, I still didn't watch it, but I will.
I'm working on a remix right now. I took a little portion of the video and I kind of remix it a little bit. It's amazing.
Well, then when you remix it, maybe we show it here.
Maybe I should show some of y'all a sneak peek or just a little bit, but definitely it's I like it better than the original.
Okay. You got that right now to show us?
I'm looking it up. I was working on it last night and it's pretty. I'll show it off my phone real quick, but it's definitely interesting. But you got to see that video. I'm Albanian.
I will. Yeah.
Right here. I got a little bit of it right here. Check this out.
When you gotta kill, they're at home. When I gotta kill, I'm in the street. I'm Albanian blood. I'm a
Working
That's
on that.
horrible. Okay, Joe Biden's as smart as that. Oh, come on, that's not right, dude. That's really belittling Johnny Light to say that. I'm sorry. Both without a doubt, they are both. All political parties are craps. I'm not Republican or Democrat, and I say that proudly. I wouldn't give either party my time. I vote individually, and that's just the way it is. My party days are over. No such thing as Albanian blood. They were under Ottoman occupation for 500 years, the Ottoman Turks. Hey, you know what? That is great information. Thank you so much. Okay, see? And they say that my watchers are dumb. Okay. John Gotti Sr.'s death was worse than you think. He wouldn't see jailhouse doctors because he was worried they would give him something to make him talk.
Oh.
Both today and yesterday were and are enjoying. Well, we appreciate that. And we got about 6 minutes to go. We're going to stay for the hour and a half, and we're going to read your remarks. And right now we're still at 100, guys. Okay, wow. Guy, thanks so much. Have a good night. I love the format. I'll be back whenever I can. I appreciate it, David. I appreciate your honesty and your opinions and the fact that you didn't agree with some things I said and ask questions, and you still are decent enough to stay, because we get people here that don't, if we don't agree with them, they just abandon us. So it's really appreciated very much. Okay, my dogs just came running in the house. Okay, Cosmo is really intelligent. No, that's okay. Okay, the show's almost over. Joe Biden as a Chinese Communist Party asset. poor Joe Biden. Wait a minute. Okay, guys, I'm going to get out of here now. But I appreciate everybody being here. It was a great show, and we appreciate everything. I'm glad I can. And tomorrow night, I'll most likely be putting out a video, and you'll see us both back here. Okay,
real quick, go to the description and subscribe to your boy Caneshade Zone.
Okay, yeah, you're in there. Please subscribe to him. He really deserves it, people. I'm just going to let you go. I'm just going to close everything down. You take care, my man.
All right.
Okay.